Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to Coffee Talk! All right, today we're talking about a kind of serious topic. We're talking about the death of the famous UFO expert, David Wilcock. Now, many of you know David Wilcock was made famous by the History Channel's Ancient Alien show, where he was a regular commentator on that television show. And we're going to talk about this connection potentially to the 13 missing scientists. We're going to talk about how this affects disclosure. We're going to talk about what he believed and what he was involved in and the circumstances of his demise. We're also going to talk about kind of the history of misinformation and the discussion of whether the UFO topic is disinformation, or are these UFOs actually man-made, or are they a result of captured technology? The technology we work with today, the cell phone you're looking at, did it come from us or did it come from the stars? But before we get started, I want to thank all of you who support the channel. All of your kind donations help keep this channel on the air. I would like to give you an update that due to a lot of factors, and mainly due to the loss of two of my primary supporters, financial supporters, I've been in financial straits for some time. And I just sold my third gun this year to make ends meet. And this channel has been supporting me for many years, but it's getting to where it isn't anymore. And partially that's my fault. I've been a bit inactive lately. And I won't lie, a big part of it is, and maybe it's good news, bad news. Me and Lolo have reconciled, and we've been seeing each other many months now, and known each other more than a year. And so that's good news. But it was a bit of distraction for a while that reconciliation was going on. But I'm proud to say she's back in my life now, and I hope she's here to stay. So any of you who want to contribute to the channel, you'll find links in the description below. They'll help me keep the lights on here. I'm on the verge of having to get a full-time job just because the ends haven't been meeting. The math's not mathing here at the channel right now. So, there's an old saying, what God ordains, he sustains. And so if this is getting towards no longer being sustained, I have to question whether I'm supposed to be doing this or moving on to something else, or doing this and something else. And I will say this, I'm never going to completely quit. This channel started as a form of self-expression, and I've been blessed that it's helped pay the bills for many years. But ultimately, this is my self-expression. So let's talk about this very interesting topic of all these scientists that have come up missing. Have you all got your coffee? You ready to go? Because some of this stuff is a theory about conspiracies that you may need some coffee to swallow. And just a reminder, Coffee Talk is for topics I find interesting but don't necessarily believe. So, David Wilcock, famous for being involved in the UFO topic, being an expert in the ancient alien theory. And if you haven't seen the show, and I'm sure you all have, but the ancient alien theory is the concept that potentially a civilization existed on this earth prior to the flood that was built by hybrid human alien crossbreeds. Now, this comes from Genesis 6, where the Bible says, the sons of God looked down upon the daughters of men and found them beautiful and took them as their wives, and the offspring thereof were men of renown. Or in the original translation, they were giants. Well, this gets confirmed in later on in the Old Testament, when Moses sends spies across the river into the promised land to scope out this land God promised to the people of Israel. And they come back saying that giants inhabit this land, and we're like grasshoppers to them. So the ancient alien theory is the builder theory. The builder theory states that some of the most iconic sites in archaeology, Pumapunku, I think that's in Peru, and we've got the pyramids obviously have been a point of discussion, the Sphinx, and other sites around the world that seem to be built with such precision that they can't be explained by primitive building techniques. And I, for one, subscribe to the ancient alien theory, the belief that there was a once great society, and we call it Atlantis, but it was worldwide. There was probably a worldwide power grid. Many people believe that the pyramids were part of this power grid. That's why there's pyramids all around the Earth. And either this was a planetary defense system or an electrical distribution system that allowed things to be powered. And one of the things that's clear, whether you're looking at the book of Enoch, or the Genesis 6 passage, is that some creatures from another place, call them aliens, call them angels, came here and interfered with humans by giving them witchcraft or magic. And I believe they gave them technology. And I believe that the technology I'm communicating with you about, or on rather, is not of Earth origin. That we traded for this, or this is a result of reverse engineering from found craft. But I believe we made a deal with the devil back in the 1950s to trade technology for the gold in Fort Knox. That's why there's probably no gold in Fort Knox. We traded it all for the technology you're using today and the new economy, the new tech economy. And there were other whistleblowers in the past who have come out and talked about deep underground military bases where aliens and humans work side by side. There's been talk of, well, I guess it's, let me look at this guy's name here, Ben Rich. Ben Rich, who was the head of Lockheed Skunk Works, he was the director. They asked him if these crafts were alien or man-made, and he said both. So there is a growing number of people, including U.S. congressmen and senators and Canadian former prime ministers, people of high level who have said that there's a secret world that we don't know about where aliens interact with humans and we purchase technology and we work side by side with them. And there's a darker side to this that suggests that we even trade human beings for biological experiments. The recent disclosure by a congressman where he said that somebody came in his office wearing a military uniform, gave him a map of all these deep underground base locations around the country where there were breeding programs between humans and aliens to create hybrids that can communicate through cross galaxies, through deep space telepathic communication, so that we have a better connection with these creatures. And my belief is Genesis 6 is happening again. I mean, when you look at some of this stuff that's being brought up by, not from the Bible people, not from the historical scroungers like myself and David, these people that have nothing to do with the UFO world or the archaeological historical ancient alien theory. These are people just working in government. They're saying this is going on, and it's high time that we've been told about it. It's high time that President Trump confirms this. In the middle of this, what you might call a soft disclosure concerning the UFO topic, you've got leading experts in anti-gravity, in deep interstellar space travel, 0-point energy. I mean, anything to do with aeronautics and space travel. A lot of these people have crossover expertise, and 13 of them now have either been unalived intentionally. One was shot in his doorway by an unknown assailant. Another one seemed to have walked off into the wilderness with nothing but a backpack and a pistol, and under mysterious circumstances. Others have committed suicide after stating publicly that they're not suicidal, after stating publicly that they have no intention of self-harm and are not inclined to it. And now we can add to this David Wilcock. At 53 years old, he, according to Boulder police, ended his life in a violent way at his own hand. He was armed with a handgun, and he unalived himself in front of witnesses. So the theory that somebody did him right and made it look like a suicide are kind of thrown out the window because we've got all these cops that are swearing that they seen him do it himself. And so this reminds me a little bit of something that happened to me. If you remember, I posted a video called Tesla's Deathray, the most frightening night of my life. And in that, I describe being hit with what some call a directed energy weapon. Some might say it's a microwave weapon. I will tell you this, that the effects that it had on my girlfriend at the time, who was asleep in the bed next to me, she flopped like a fish. She had a convulsion the whole time this weapon was engaged. It gave me the sound of high voltage, like like that high voltage hum, and a sizzling sound in the base of my neck. I felt hot all over. I was overcome with a panic to run or to fight. And I won't tell the story again. You can find that video in my archives. But it attacked my mind. The weapon did attack my mind. That feeling of fight or flight. Now I'm not a person who is prone to self-harm. I'm more the other side of the coin. If I'm going to do something crazy, I'm going to do it to somebody else, not myself. And, if I die in the process, so what? That's my side of me. So, hey, if anybody says I unalived myself, it didn't happen. You need to look into it. And that's exactly what David Wilcock said the night before this happened, or the day before. His most recent uploaded video, he goes into detail about how he feels unsafe, that these scientists that have all disappeared are people that are on the same, doing the same sort of things and talking about the same sort of things that he's been talking about. They're kind of from the same world, and it made him feel insecure. And he repeated that he is not the kind of person who would engage in self-harm. Yet the next day or two later, he's supposedly offed himself in front of police witnesses. The 911 operator, the crisis intervention specialist who took his call on 911, told TMZ that they believe David was experiencing a mental episode, a psychotic episode. And having been the victim of a directed energy weapon like that, I can tell you, it can create in you a moment, right? You can't think. Your mind is scrambled. It felt like my head was on fire. And had it continued for a long period of time, I have no doubt I would have come apart at the seams mentally from what was happening to me. Plus, the shock and disbelief that this is happening, and I would have thought I was having a heart attack or something, or there's something going on physically with me if I hadn't seen my girlfriend knocked out cold, flopping like a fish for many minutes on multiple occasions on the same night when they would turn this weapon on and off that they were using against us. And so I could see how David would potentially have an episode mentally if this weapon was used against him. One of his closest friends, I don't know if they were lovers, it appears like they might have been, but he had a female friend he was very close with and had lived with from time to time. And she said she'd just spoken to him and he seemed in good spirits. And his messages to and from various people suggested that he was looking forward to the future, that he was making plans, making his next move. And the 911 crisis intervention specialist said that David on this call to 911 talked about the financial problems he was having and the health problems he was having. And that's why they dispatched the police out there to try to prevent him from hurting himself. But yet he seemed to have done this anyway. And now, a lot is going on in this UFO discussion. This went just in the last few years from being a bunch of nut jobs with tinfoil hats who think little green men are about to invade America or about to invade the earth, to credible people at high levels saying, look, we just not know what these things are. We know they're not from here. They're not a foreign actor. These things are from someplace else, another dimension, another planet. They aren't from planet Earth. They are alien by that nature, as in not from around here. And they've been coming out and suggesting there's much more going on than anyone is letting us know about. And even before these scientists started disappearing, many people in the UFO community and in government who are tapped into this Congressmen, senators, people of high rank, people in the military have been leaking and even publicly stating that disclosure is coming. Now, why would they be trying to knock off all of the people who know the most about what's really going on with these UFOs and this alien interaction? And here is my coffee talk. Here is my theory of this conspiracy. There you go. My theory is they're going to sell us a bill of goods about the alien connection. They're going to tell us part of the truth, and the part they're going to hold back is the part that would probably cause the world to come apart at the seams if we knew about it. I believe that we made a deal with these creatures. We traded human lives and gold for technology. This it may come out in the partial soft disclosure, this half truth that I believe they're about to release, that would suggest that this technology that we all use every day didn't really originate from here. Stuff like Kevlar, fiber optic cable, all of this was scavenged from downed UFOs and reverse engineered to create this technology that we now all enjoy and use every day. And of course, me and the old men of Christendom would scream at the top of their lungs, "This technology is demonic. Therefore, the people, thing, or whatever these creatures are that gave it to us must be demonic too, because it's had a negative effect on family and children and lives and love and relationships." And it certainly has. But it's also made it possible for me to preach the gospel from sea to shining sea, from pole to pole, all the way around the flat earth. And I can talk to you across the world in the blink of an eye. It's like all things, there's good and bad involved in this technology. But I think the truth is we've been bought by these aliens. We've sold our soul to the devil. We've enslaved the planet to these things. We've let down our guard, let them in, and we found out too late that they are evil and they don't have good intentions for us. And the truth is going to come out sooner or later. So they're going to do a soft disclosure where they play down the alien involvement. They're going to say, "Hey, we don't know what these things are. They're out there. They're from someplace else. We downed some of their craft, this technology, this technological advancement that is unprecedented in human history that's occurred in the last 100 years. My grandmother was born in the horse and buggies days, and she died at 105 with a Facebook page," right? So this world changed so suddenly that and their story doesn't line up, that we just figured it out finally after eons of trying to discover this stuff. We just figured it out on our own, and I'm telling you, that's malarkey. It's total BS. That's impossible. It didn't happen. Your story doesn't line up. It's full of holes, and you're going to have to explain where this technology came from, because humans didn't make it. It doesn't make sense from a historical perspective. And so they're going to have to explain this and the UFO phenomenon and everything else without having accountability for what they did. For not, without recognizing that we made a deal with these demons, and that's why America has become the superpower and the technologically advanced society that it is today, because we sold our children, and we gave them gold and whatever they wanted: power, control, nuclear, the end of nuclear proliferation, or at least the promise to not use those weapons anymore. There's the stories of these UFOs flying over our missile silos and disabling them with some invisible beam that renders them useless. There's the story of the dubious diary of Admiral Byrd, where he was given an ultimatum in the late 1940s that we were to cease and desist using this technology, the nuclear weaponry, by the aliens that live inside of the planet in the inner Earth, the Nordics, as they're called. These very well might be the men of renown, the giants, or their offspring, alien human hybrids, characters from the days of Atlantis that exist now only on the inside of the earth. And they may have a connection with these interdimensional beings or space aliens that are flying about in these craft that people have been seeing for probably nearly 80 years now or more. They've been seeing them all along, but the first crashed one happened in 1947 at Roswell. So, did David Wilcock have a mental episode? Was this organic? Is this unrelated to the missing scientist? Even though he was talking about how they might come after him too. Because there's something very interesting about David that a lot of you don't know, especially if you only know him from the Ancient Aliens television show, that he connected up with a character named Corey Good, who has an unbelievable, crazy story about a super secret space program, and claims that we have spaceships and we've gone all over the known galaxy and we have interactions with multiple races of aliens. And David believed that he was in contact with the Federation of Planets, the very much like the Federation of Planets in Star Trek, a coalition of highly advanced civilizations from wherever, from everywhere, and how they are here to do combat with and to challenge the evil aliens that contacted us and that we made the deal with back in the 50s under the Eisenhower administration, and how they have corrupted our planet, very much like the story of the flood. They corrupted our planet with this technology. We're so far removed from the earth. No one knows how to make a fire. Nobody knows how to grow food. Nobody knows how to hunt and fish anymore. Nobody knows how to provide for themselves outside of this, what we call the beast system, this modern new economy. People don't know the basics of being a human being anymore. We wouldn't know ourselves if we went back in time and met ourselves from the past. We wouldn't know each other. We would not make sense to each other. The people younger than me who have come up under this new technology, they don't know how to survive apart from it. We have been corrupted, just like the sons of God corrupted the people of the earth through the witchcraft in Genesis 6. And, magic and witchcraft technology that you've never seen would seem like magic or witchcraft. If I took a Bic lighter, right, or a flashlight back to the Indians of the Americas just 180 or 200 years ago, they would think we were gods because we possessed this technology. It would even impress the cowboys of the day. But things like transistor radios, walkie-talkies, cell phones, the internet, this just looks like sorcery unless you understand or have been raised up in the belief that we invented this stuff. But this very well could be the thing that has corrupted the earth, just like it corrupted the earth then. The Galactic Federation, that Wilcock believed he was in contact with, and the way he contacted them was through channeling. He had someone that said they were channeling and reaching out to him through this person, through telepathy from the Galactic Federation, and that they were about to intervene and make themselves known. And now there's all these prophecies emerging from various sources about an alien invasion in 2027. So why would they be offing all of the people who know about this? To cover up some of the facts. Because one thing, if anybody knew about the true source of our technology, if anybody knew whether this was found technology and reverse engineered or technology we received in trade from a alien civilization, those people that knew the truth, which one of this is, right? They're the ones going missing. They're the ones who are being offed. They're the ones who are dying in mysterious self-harm incidences, even after they said, if that happens, it wasn't me, because I'm not that way. I'm not prone to self-harm. I'm not that way in any way. And yet, within days of saying that, these people are dying that way. Are they trolling us? Is it laughter from the graves? Is it the is it them messing with our minds, knowing they're going to do it ahead of time? I don't think so. I think that there is an active conspiracy to do away with anybody who knows the truth, that we traded human beings to these aliens for experimentation and potentially food, and gold in exchange for technology that has changed the world as we know it in my lifetime. Yeah, a little gray there. I've seen it change. It's a different world. And those that know the truth, that we traded for this, they're the ones who are being targeted, it appears to me anyway. And I think they're going to come out and tell us that all this technology came from reverse engineering from downed craft, when in reality, I think they traded tens of thousands, if not millions of lives, human lives, for this technology. All right, tell me what you think in the comments section. Don't forget to support the channel. Please leave a donation through the links in the description below to Cash App and to PayPal and to my post office box to help keep this channel on the air, because time is money, and if I'm working a full-time job, which it looks like I may have to do, I'll have less time to do this work. So if you want to keep this channel alive, keep this work alive, please support the channel, and we'll see you next time on Coffee Talk!